Anyways, welcome back to the Mac and Georgie show.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties earlier, but we are back.
Yeah. How was your week? We talked like a week ago. We might do this as a
Um,
normal thing, half an hour
dude,
every Sunday.
dude, like I'm so down for Sunday. If like a schedule, that's like the hardest thing with like I feel like that's like one of the hardest things like when you're transitioning from like college to career is like and kids and stuff is like it's so difficult to get a schedule like in place, you know what I'm saying? Like with people because everybody gets busy. But my week, honestly, I went to Kansas for a couple days. I came back. I sort of got a job offer, and I can't talk about it yet. And then I got to
Was
go
that one
for
on Craigslist where that guy was like, "I'll fart on you"?
no,
I
it's a
don't
legit
know.
job.
No,
No,
no, no judgment.
no.
Sex work is real work, man.
Yeah, but I don't want to get farted on. I think
Fuck.
I'd have to pay him for that.
uh, I had a dude message me on Instagram and be like, "Can you piss in my mouth? I'll drink your pee and I'll give you $200 per session." I'm like,
You thought about it, didn't you?
I was like, I was like, that's fucking no. I was like, fuck, man. Like, I'm not even putting down other people's kinks, but like, fucking, just when I hear stuff like that, okay, maybe my looking up a maid getting fucked is not that weird of a fetish, you know? Like,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
normal guy. I'm like, he used to think I was weird, but holy shit.
I feel like there's so many kinks that are weird until you're like somebody that's into it and then you just kind of don't talk about it.
Yeah. So I sent you a video of it was like a Reddit. It was like sex workers. What's like the weirdest kink you've ever come across? And a sex worker was like, yeah, I had a guy that liked to go to the hotel room, spread his legs, and like sit down and spread his legs naked. And
The
he
fuck?
brought hard boiled eggs, and he wanted me to roll the eggs towards his balls and meow at him.
What the
And one of
fuck?
the one of the comments was like, "How the fuck do you discover that?"
How like no shit. That's like literally my first question. How the fuck do you discover that you're like I like to get my balls tapped by eggs?
And like someone meow at me.
Meow.
Yeah, and it's like because like with other
Like
things,
I'm close. I'm close. Can you just meow for me? Yeah, there it is. Like what the fuck?
yeah, but like I don't know. I definitely, honestly, I definitely like as I get more and more a little older, I realize that things of instant gratification are not good, and that
Yeah.
religion has some things right, and that like hedonism and constant sex is for procreation, and yeah, obviously it's for pleasure and this and that, but like living a life of, I think like it's beautiful when one man and one woman get together and have a family and procreate, and partners do silly shit with each other. But I think a lot of people are wanting to sleep around way too much in their 20s, and they're running around and like this whole like people used to, our grandparents used to settle down early 20s, 18,
Yeah.
19,
Yeah.
start a family because they needed each other to support each other. We
Yeah.
have too much of like, oh no, I need to go get fucked by, and like guys are, I'm not just ragging on girls here, but guys sleep around way too much in their early 20s. I,
I think I may have mentioned it last podcast, but I mentioned that there's this thing where it's like you think your options are bigger than they are or wider than they are. Like you have more options than you actually do. And that's why people are like leaving each other so quick. But you're totally
yeah,
right about the grandparents.
honestly, I was thinking about it the other day as like some of the girlfriends I had when I was 18, 19, 20. It's like I would have been fine settling down with them totally. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, and then like I don't like this thing of like people like, oh, like I have this one chick at the gym, which I have a bit of a crush on. Bit of a muscle mommy she is. Uh,
Muscle mommy.
yeah. Fuck. I bet you she could beat me in a wrestling match. But anyways, besides the point. Um, she's like, oh, I wanted to break up with my boyfriend so I could work on myself. And meanwhile, she did, and then she got together with another guy like a month later. So I was like, okay, clearly you just fucking. But it's like you don't have to break up with someone to work on yourself. Like, actually, believe it or not, the whole point of getting married is to make each other's life better and have a partner so that you push each other and you supplement each other in ways that it's better than being single. It's not supposed to be a fucking drag on your life.
I agree with that, and I also think that that's why sex gets better. To complement that, I think that's why sex gets better with a partner over like a longer period of time, because you know what each other like, and you complement that, right?
Yeah, you can eventually tell her how you like fucking eggs rolled towards her balls.
No, 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 no. I don't want eggs in my balls.
You get braver and braver. Um, Yeah, I don't know. Like I definitely I had like in my early 20s, if I were to talk of regret about my life, I don't know if I regret it or not, but I've had a decent amount of partners. I've done a decent amount of things, and I wish I had more long-term relationships when I was younger.
Sure.
Um, I
They
think
hurt more. They hurt more when they're over. That's for sure.
actually weirdly enough, I'm not even kidding. Like I've been back in Winnipeg here. Someone I was dating for like 3 years. I swear, like this city of Montreal, it's easier to get over someone. Like here, I like man, there was like, well, you know about all of them basically, but you know, there's someone I was dating for 4 months here, and it's like it was hard to get over them because everywhere in Winnipeg, there's like fucking three places to take a girl here, and everything like you end up going everywhere together, and like there's so much happening in a big city, especially Montreal. It's like the
Yeah.
city for young people. It's like that in like France or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe Vegas, but there's just so much going on, like nature, going for a walk. Everything you need is 5 minutes away. And it's just easier to go for walks and get out there and meet more people. And it's easier to get over. And it's like, man, like, it's just weird, you know?
In other cities, like I noticed that too, like in my travels, like other cities have everything you need in 5 minutes away. And I almost think it's a catch 22 because you don't explore as much unless you really get bored of it or you really want to, right?
Well, to me, I lived right by the metro in Montreal, so it was so easy to go anywhere else.
Right.
Metro
Right.
in Montreal, like, goes, I don't know how fast it goes underground, but I end up in
Is
downtown.
that the one is that the one that goes to Toronto and back or is that not done
No,
yet?
that's the one being built or whatever. So
Okay. Yeah.
but yeah, there's I don't I'm gonna look it up later, but there's one. Apparently, it takes like oh, there's gonna be one that like goes to New York, Toronto, and like a circuit of the East Coast.
They're all because they're all so close together,
Yeah.
right? So imagine that,
Or
like you're
4 hours
bored in
away.
Montreal and then you're like, I work in New York, you know?
And it's like, well, it takes an hour. The goal is to be able to go from Toronto to Montreal in an hour. So that is a morning commute.
Yeah.
Drive 35 minutes to my work right now. And it's funny because people in Europe don't deal with that. Like to me, 35, especially okay, when I was in Montreal, I wouldn't fucking drive 45 minutes to see someone. It's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Now it's very regular. And now it's like I was bitching to someone on the phone. Like it's just like I drive so much. And as much as I try and fill that time with productivity, like podcasts and audiobooks, it's just like it's fucking sickening how much I have to drive. And it's like it is more relaxing to go for walks, and it's more
Yeah.
even public transport. Like you just get to relax, let go, and like I would like do shit on my phone or like read or and just kind of like zone out, and like you're not having to focus when you're on a subway. We don't have a subway here in Winnipeg, and that's fine. But,
Wow, that's because our ground isn't meant for it. Apparently, it has something to do with silt and stuff.
we're a swamp here.
Yeah.
So I'm crane apprentice and whatnot. So there's all these like, so Ontario is like built on rock, and like places like Germany, like there's all these big massive cranes called all terrain cranes. And in Germany, you don't have to like, so in 1942, there's this, you know, in the 40s and 30s in Germany, there's this guy, and he built these awesome bridges to be able to move heavy equipment and tanks over them like nothing. So in
Yeah.
Germany, there's almost like no road restrictions for vehicle weight. While in Manitoba, especially in the spring, because we're right by two lakes and rivers, and like it's very soggy here, the roads here will disintegrate under a certain weight. So a lot of the cranes here, even though they're meant to drive as one piece, here they have a lot of weight and parts have to be taken off and hauled with semis to be able to move these cranes, especially in the spring. And yeah, so it's because and like even here, like the ground, if you're by riverbanks, it's like your ground eventually sinks. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like yeah, and in Ontario, it's not so much because it's on the Canadian Shield, so it's like more of a solid foundation. While in Manitoba, we definitely are a bit of a swamp. I have someone pulling up my driveway, so hopefully they just fuck off because I'm in the middle of a podcast. God damn it! It's like no, I don't want to buy your goddamn vacuum or whatever.
Encyclopedia salesman.
Fuck, I have some of those because some guy. I remember that lady that came to the door 10 years ago.
Man, like I think about how like limitless Wikipedia is versus like actual encyclopedias. Because I don't know about you, but like I call it like Wikipedia jumping. I don't really know what it is, but you like read an article and then you just like click on like one of the links and like you start at like let's say like Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise,
And
then you're in like
it always ends up at Hitler for some reason.
wow. Well, yeah, it's something with a war, that's for sure. Not
Brad
necessarily.
Pitt and there was that
guy,
game they played in high school where it's like you have to go from this subject to that. And I
Yeah.
just hit it in my head. I was like, Brad Pitt and Glorious Bastards, Hitler. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just like I because like I'm just thinking of like how you would essentially know how the roads are made. You'd have to, I guess, like in school, if you were to become like a construction owner or construction job site owner, you work with all these teams and you'd have to like essentially, and I'm talking about back in the day, you'd have to teach people about the roads. It would just be like, do this, don't even worry about it. Or you could be sort of like a cut above the rest where you'd have to figure out why and you'd read about it versus now, like it's actually like I don't think younger people, and by younger people, I mean like sub 15, really understand how crazy knowledge and how accessible knowledge is, right? Like the fact that I can say something and then in 3 seconds you can whip out your phone, be like, yo, that's actually wrong. It's this, that, or the other thing. And
Yeah.
the fact that anybody listening to this can be like, oh, I wonder what, like, is Winnipeg actually a swamp? And they could do it. And it's like, we've known that forever. But now, because you work on these cranes, because you do this sort of thing, you have this integral knowledge of like, this would work and this won't work. And then adjusting that to like, let's say somewhere in Montreal where the skills are transferable, but you're not exactly doing the same job.
Well,
Does that make sense?
I don't know. Well, it's interesting because a lot of a real estate agent pointed this out to me. If you're near houses in neighborhoods that are near rivers in Manitoba, all the houses kind of lean towards the river because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
river
yeah.
is slowly sinking and the water slowly lets houses.
Is it in LA or Miami that they have like those, call them support beams for that same reason on the beach fronts?
I do not know about that, so I'm not going to even answer.
Okay. Okay.
We'll let the
Okay.
listeners Google it and like comment, and
There you go.
let me know. Um, you said you wanted to talk about girls today, Jordan. What do you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I was gonna mention that, like, you know, I find it, I kind of find it fascinating that the way men talk about sex at an age, usually it's in high school, and it's almost like a peer pressure thing to have sex right away for guys. And then girls, it's almost like the opposite. They want to
Uh,
have sex, but
I
I think
remember in
that they're
grade
more
nine,
mysterious.
that was like the year a bunch of people like in my high school lost their virginity. I think there was pressure on girls because it was like, um, it was more people like in couples, and it was like,
Right. Well, they're having sex.
well,
Why
fucking
should we?
Amy and this person like they had sex and like, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was like kind of weird. It's weird how when you're younger, a blowjob is less intimate than sex, but as you get into your later 20s or in your 20s, blowjob is more intimate than sex.
I just had a conversation about
Really, that's
this.
weird, eh? Because when
Yeah,
you're younger, it's like a blowjob is like a type of sex and almost sex, but not really sex, right?
yeah.
But then now it's like I think because a lot of people have by the time they're in North America, this godless continent, a lot of people tend to have like a lot of sex and a lot of partners, and it's like you would have sex with a one night stand, but you might not give them oral sex because it is more intimate. You're putting your fucking head on their private part.
Well, so I mean,
Maybe
it's
going on there.
both, it's both people, right? So it's like you're performing a pleasure on somebody else, and somebody else is open to having somebody near their genitals, right? Like
Yeah.
imagine like
Instead of
a girl
clashing
could,
genitals, you're putting like an intimate part of you
yeah,
closer.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Instead of
exactly, yeah,
just smashing genitals.
yeah, and using each other to have
Yeah,
that special
someone
moment.
I was reading a book. What the hell was it called? I was listening to a book. It was called not the game, but the guy who wrote the game wrote
Okay.
years later. Like he went to like sex addiction therapy because he got like so addicted to like sounds fucking stupid, but like his method was so good and like he got really addicted to sex and he couldn't stop cheating on his wife, so he went to therapy. And like he was talking about how like the therapist said like some people just get so I don't know if I like want to say sex addiction's real or this or that like but I think it's like, no, like porn addiction's real. People get way into it and they do too much crazy things and it becomes so hedonistic that they just need more and more and more and nothing's good enough. And I think you want to bring your baseline down so you can enjoy the simple pleasures and you can enjoy one woman. I think your life is a lot better and that's like it's less instant gratification in the long run. But they were saying something along the lines of this nurse that like kind of hated men, but she kept saying it's like you guys are using these women's bodies to masturbate.
Yeah.
And it's like you and your partners that don't even like each other are using each other to masturbate. Basically, it's not a connection. It's not for procreation, and you're not even doing it for each other. It's more for yourself.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think sex is I have different feelings about sex, and I don't know. I guess when you're younger, you just want to experience as much of it as possible. Now it's like we're old dogs. We want to settle down and like meet like a partner that is more long lasting. And but it's the thing is it's hard because when you love someone, it's like you give them such an opportunity to hurt you.
Well, opening up is a part of being intimate. I think that that's something that what I was referring to earlier with like guys being more alpha about sex is that men take well, I don't have the right
I'm pure Oliver here. What do you mean by that?
I don't have
Who
I don't have the right
name a specific person?
I don't have the proper terminology the second. However, I think that for a lot of guys, it's harder to open up emotionally, and I'm not saying all guys. It's harder to open up emotionally and let those walls down because we're so used to being a defender or a protector or an aggressor. And for women, it's harder to connect on an emotional level because of that. And like you said, I think it takes us longer to do that for the most
Well,
part.
honestly, I'm not ragging on women, but I do think there is a general like girls or women to say they want a guy who does something. They want a guy who texts them all the time. They want a guy who does this. And it's like, no, I think they want a partner who they wish would do these things because when they get a partner
Right.
who does that thing, it's their best friend or it's annoying. And this guy's not busy and he devotes too much time to her and it's kind of lame. And, you know, there's one girl I had, we got engaged. Or well, we didn't like get engaged, but we were gonna do like a Vegas style wedding and just get eloped and then tell all our friends later.
Yeah.
That level of engagement. And you know what? She was the girl, every guy on the film set. She was like the young PA, very pretty, blonde, very, very pretty. And every guy just wanted to flirt with her. And I was one guy that didn't because my French is not that good. My hearing French is not that good. And I got away in Quebec with like my lack of French because I just know how film sets work. But I had to pay twice as much attention than everybody else there. And I had to work way harder and just fucking pay attention. So I did not have time to flirt with girls. I just finished reading this book called Atomic Attraction, which is basically about more like the science of working on yourself. And girls don't happen to like bad boys or assholes, but they happen to like guys that work on themselves and can take care of themselves and that don't need a woman, especially in today's like before it's like you get a girl because you need to replace your mother basically, but now girls like guys that can bloody take care of themselves so that they can take care of them.
Replace the mother is an interesting comment.
That's exactly what it was back in the day. And I did all these tricks. I'm not tricks, but it's like, you know what? I would match her energy. And I could tell she was seeing and talking. She admitted later she was talking and seeing to other guys, right? And you know, I this is the one time her and another like those were my two longer relationships because I fumble really hard in the first 1 to 3 months because I get excited. I'm like, oh, and I jump steps too quick, and I'm, you know, if I like someone, it's like, okay, yeah, here's a key to my place, you know, like, you know, why not? I trust you, but it's like I need to learn to pace myself a little bit more. But with her, I really did. I did all the good, followed all the rules, I did everything, and like we even worked together eventually in the same department on another film. So there was a week we counted 90 days straight we spent with each other. We didn't argue, we didn't get mad, and even when work was really really tough and she was struggling and I was struggling with the language barrier, and there's this one dickhead who was like super separatist and fucking hated my Western Canada face and would make fun of how I pronounce things in French and then be like, oh, come on, man, you've been here like a year. And it's like, yeah, I've been here like a year during COVID where it's like there is no immersion because I'm fucking at my apartment all the time. And this guy would taunt me like daily. And he would actually come up, this fat fucking Quebecois son of a bitch. Fuck you, Simone, you piece of shit. I just gotta throw that in there. What the fuck was it? I don't want him getting. There's a couple Simones in Quebec I worked with. You guys are cool, but the fat fuck that was on the gray mail, you know who you know who you are, you fat piece of shit. He would come up and like go like that under my ribs to taunt me and call me a little boy. And you know, and then not all Quebecois are like that, but the odd guy is like that. And then he would be the biggest victim when I'd be like, "Fuck you, oh, he doesn't like me because I'm French." I went off on a little bit of a rant there and a tangent. Sorry, but you're a piece of shit. I hope you watch this, you fat piece of shit.
That's a lot of hate.
No, it's not. It's very warranted. Anyways, what the hell was I saying? Anyways,
with the girl.
it's like makes myself seem like this guy's a fucking asshole, and he intimidated the fuck out of my girlfriend at the time, so it made shit very weird. And he would kind of like, I was more on set and closer to the dolly grips, and I was like C dolly, so I was like the third camera, or I was assisting and helping build the set. He would like physically impose himself on this girl and like tell her she's shit and garbage and be really impatient with her. So honestly, that made shit very awkward. Like, I'm such an outsider there. And I tried to do as much as I could. And actually, I feel like a bit of a failure because some days she would fucking cry in the morning and just not want to go to work. And you know what? I've never really talked about this on the internet, and I guess it's happening right now. It's just, I feel like such a bag of shit that I couldn't defend her and I couldn't do anything.
So like, how did that like call it relationship end then?
I'm getting to it, god damn it.
Okay. Looks like you're eating ramen.
It just sounds like shit. And the mic was like she had a knee surgery. And like, see, I talk about these things and I don't want all future girlfriends to just think I'll just let everything out on the internet. But this was like a little, I don't know. Man.
I mean, it's been long
like,
enough.
It's just like no one's this far. No one's this far into the podcast. No one's even fucking, maybe one of our moms are listening. I don't know. And you know what? I made some like mistakes out of the rule. Like, I don't want to say the rule book, but like, you know what? When you're a dude, you can't just like get lazy, play video games and smoke pot. You got to still be working on yourself. Can't get comfortable. That's a sad thing. But honestly, I had a friend overdose in late 2022, and I found out on set, and I actually probably should have took some personal days. He was a close friend of mine, and we talked a lot. His name was Derek, and this fat fuck Simone actually taunted me a couple times about it. He's a real fat piece of shit, and I hope he knows that. He's a miserable, fat, lazy piece of shit that I caught sleeping a couple times. And everyone knows this. His mom's a producer. That's the only reason why people hire him. He's a fat, lazy piece of shit that no one likes. And I hope you can quote me on that.
Okay. Ever meet Simone?
You know what? This motherfucker even like got in her face once because she was wearing like a little bit more of a cute jacket, like not a like a working man, like because the grip department can be a little bit more masculine. And he grabbed her by the jacket and like, this is like a bar jacket. You got me wearing this at work. And like this motherfucker is like cornering her and intimidating this like nice little 5'2" girl. I'm like, honestly, man, like maybe the world was just like against that relationship, and I was really tired of Quebec at the time, and I just wish I was better at French. And you know what? I tried my best. I tried my absolute fucking best every single day. Some days I gave up, but like it's funny. I come back here and I'm more confident with French because like when I talk to Franco Manitobans, they're not dickheads about it. And they'll slowly have a conversation with me while Quebec, I'm like, you know, and it's just like, but anyways, long story short, I just eventually got comfortable, thought she was the one. We thought each other were the one. Maybe that's just like love bomb and trauma and bonding or whatever the fuck these people on the internet talk about love. We just got I don't know if it's too fast, but maybe I think she just lost appreciation for me. I cried in front of her one too many times after my friend died, and like as much as it's like, oh, you need a guy that like opens up and blah, blah. And it's like, no, if you cry in front of your chick too much, she'll just subconsciously not even know why, she will get the ick and lose respect for you. And I just, as douchey as that sounds, I just think that's true. I just really think that's true. And you know what? Like I was, as much as like, it's funny. I think going to Quebec just mellowed me right out. Everyone at my work, I'm like the mellow guy at work. No, like someone said, like you used to like be like, and I said like in film is a different environment, and then in Quebec is a different environment where you don't understand shit all the time. It is frustrating. It is hard to not be like, especially when you get taunted 5 times a day, every single day about your French sucking, even though you're spending tons of money on your tutoring and like doing Duolingo every fucking day at lunch. And trying your absolute best, and people are just shitting on you, and you feel like a dumb fuck. It gave me a lot more empathy for immigrants that come to North America. That's what that gave me. You
Interesting.
probably want to talk about video games or something. I'm just fucking.
No. It's, I mean,
It's
it's,
absolutely.
I mean, it's, if you said you believed in God,
and honestly, I snapped at her a couple times, and I wasn't the best partner. But you know what? I took care of this girl for 2 months, did everything for her, wiped her butt, sponge bath. I was her nurse for 24/7. I took time off work, and I did everything I ever could. And I did get frustrated with it eventually. But you need, like, if she was thirsty, did anything. Like, she couldn't move an inch without me because her knee was basically open still. She eventually started talking to other dudes online, which I caught. And then the convoy happened. So when she was better, I actually eventually left, started streaming it. Her friends thought I was a dirty redneck piece of shit for doing that. And then her friend one day texted me and told me to come get my stuff, and that Emily, whatever, I said her fucking name, was done with me. And like after all that, I thought I deserved, I didn't do this stuff to make someone stay with me.
Right.
But you know what? I will say I honestly deserved a little bit better than that. I deserved, and like, oh, and then this shit of like something about girls when they want to make an excuse. It's like, oh, their phone, or I didn't know, and she had my phone in the other room, or I just didn't. So your friend had your phone in the other room for 3 hours and you didn't know. Because funny, it's fucking always attached to your hip. It's always in your damn hand. Three. If I had your phone for 3 hours, you would fucking know. And it's just like these excuses and this constant disrespect. And
I mean, there's the age-old quote now. It's like people are more scared of losing their phone than their virginity, right? So it's like you're right on the money. It's like if you don't have your phone, you know where it is, or if you don't know where it is, you're looking for it, right? So that is, I mean, that's scary.
Long story short, I was there for someone when they were all depressed and crying. Listen to them every day. As soon as I needed someone to catch me, this doesn't mean it'll be the same for everyone, but as soon as I needed someone to catch me, no, I was like a little sad, depressed. Things weren't really working out for me in Quebec all the time. Really didn't work out on the most recent show. She bounced back pretty goddamn quick. What did she do? She said, "Oh, I want to see you, but I don't want to see you. I don't want to stop you from talking to other girls." It's like, no, I think you just want to bang some of those guys that are talking to you on the internet that you don't think I know about, but that's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, and you know what the saddest thing was? She took a guy on a date that we were supposed to go on. That actually, if I were to talk about heartbreak, wasn't, when my couple girls cheated on me in Winnipeg, because that's physical cheating. I think I'm more of a woman in that way. The emotional cheating is what gets me. And yeah, she threw her friends who brought her groceries twice a big surprise party as a thank you. Didn't invite me. Fuck, didn't really do anything for me. And like, I ain't sitting here to just bitch about shit, but it's like, man, if you help me move for half an hour, no, let's say you helped me move for 8 hours, and then a motherfucker came for 10 minutes, and I bought that guy a Ferrari, you'd be like, do I get it? Like, yeah. I didn't get it. Do all of this. So, she stays, and now she owes me something. I did it because she was someone I loved, and you help people you love when they are down. But I'm going to say, I very least, maybe at least wait a month or two before fucking off with another dude. That's all I got to say about that.
That's a fair comment.
Want to open up about anything, Jordan?
Yes, next time, because our meeting's going to be done.
No, that's fine. I guess we're trying to keep it shorter, but I basically just fucking unloaded a bunch of stuff. Probably look like a psycho now, but no. And if I were to be honest, what it even led into the segue? No, it's just I just broke the rules. I cried in front of a girl too many times, and I think she just lost. I just think she lost appreciation for me, and like maybe because I was just there for her too much. When you wipe someone's butt, maybe they don't appreciate you as much. I don't know.
Well, you think that would make you closer? Because I was going to ask earlier about, because you said you
I don't think she owed me anything because of that, but like, maybe not text other fucking dudes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But because I actually think that arguments, not yelling matches, mind you, but like soft arguments are actually kind of healthy.
Yeah, no, they totally
relationships
understand each other more. I think the goal is to maybe, I don't think I'm an expert on relationships, but from all the failed relationships. It's more like, oh yeah, maybe it's more of a to understand each other. And um that's
Yeah,
sorry, I'm like totally cutting you off every
it's
third.
okay. It's okay. You're
This is
fine.
my show, god damn it.
And that's the way it's gonna be.
Yeah. My assistant Jordan will get you guys some coffee. If you
Pull
haven't-
that shit up.
yeah, Jamie, smoke.
Pull that shit up.
Fuck, that'd be man. I don't even know what that Jamie guy looks like. That'd be a cool job though. Like being your, and he probably just started. Like his uncle probably gave him like no money. He's like, oh Jamie, you want to like stick around? But yeah, that guy makes like 500 grand a year now. Jamie.
Googling shit during a podcast.
Yeah, he's good at it though. He helps his uncle.
Yeah. Well, this was fun.
Yeah. God damn it.
Listening to a story about your
Do you have any
really-
more? What the hell was I getting? No, the whole point is like you asked about something about like vulnerability or something.
yeah, well, I just
Like honestly,
commented
I was
that
too vulnerable too fast, and this girl subconsciously got the ick and didn't even know why, and then she left me.
yeah, I think that that's important to remember is like you can't be too vulnerable too fast. That's a great way of saying it. You can be vulnerable, I think, but not too fast.
And it's funny-
Crying in front of her 6 or 7 times, regardless. Like I think the only, like, no joke, I think the only time that you could probably do that is if your mom died, respectfully. Like not,
Yeah.
my best friend died. Well, sorry, it sucks. Be strong, be a rock, you know?
I think of my father when I was like 8. He's like, "You better not cry at my funeral."
Holy shit.
He's like, "If you need to cry, you go home and."
That's about $25,000 in therapy. Jesus
Nah.
Christ.
But no, it was funny. It was just like, well, he had a very like it was funny. He's like, yeah, like because I think it was like because him and my mom were going somewhere on a plane together. He's like, "If this plane crashes,
Don't cry at my fucking funeral." It's so dark.
don't embarrass me."
That's so dark.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's just didn't want to be embarrassed. I guess I don't know.
Why, it would be his funeral. He would be you'd think that he would be like happy that you were up at
I don't
least
think.
upset.
Hey, I'm not. I don't think my dad's a bad guy or anything. It was just
Yeah,
like,
it's not, okay.
well, it's like hardcore. That's his generation, and like,
Yeah, that's true.
well, it is like and it's funny because right after this breakup, I'll fucking tell you, it was who kept me going. It was my aunt in Winnipeg that phoned me every goddamn day, and then, so the lady on the phone and this weird mystical guy around March 2022 came along. Andrew Tate. And it was more like, one of the first clips I ever saw him was him talking about like, yeah, men go through breakups way harder. And I saw that because she was this cute little Quebecois girl that had this new dude. Plus, like, dudes were surrounding her all over again. And she had all these friends. And I was a little bit, an outsider there. Didn't have a lot of friends. A lot of my friends were back here, but people can't phone you all the time. But you know what? My aunt, who worked a job, phoned me on all her breaks. Phone me everywhere. Just like she phoned me like 5 times a day in the beginning. And you know what's funny? A lot of guys do not get that. A lot of anybody do not get that. I'm very, very lucky and fortunate and grateful for my Auntie Shar, who's actually not even my real blood aunt. Just some lady
Powerful woman came out of nowhere. That's pretty
basically.
wicked.
But no, and like it was weird. It was like the timing of that, like him, and it was weird. Why I enjoyed the convoy so much was because I was back in English world, like understanding shit, not feeling like an idiot. I just spent 2.5 years feeling like a complete fucking moron at work and getting screamed at in French all the time, and people asking why I'm not getting it. And you've been here, come on. This one guy kept taunting me. He's like, so French is so easy. It's like, yeah, you were
You were born there. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually anyone who, most people will say, like, if you go from French to English, it's very easy because English is like a dumbed down version of French. Well, English to French, like the more I learned about French, I'm like, holy shit, other languages of the world are much more specific. English is very vague. That's why there's so much misunderstanding when talking English. But it's like so if I said there's moles on the backside, that could mean like 3 different things. There's the mole on my backside, or there's spies in an area called the backside, or the animal mole is in my backyard. Like it's a very vague language. Well, French is so specific with the and you know what? There's the different accents, and you would say what is it in French? You would say 18 for 18. In Quebecois French, it's Come on, Mackenzie. I did not fucking get this tabernacle.
Sounds like you're coughing almost. It's like what? And if you're not used to hearing that, sure, yeah.
We want to top right from Canada.
Canada.
Steve Tabernacle. Yeah, and this one, I remember this one guy. I even liked him. I wore like fuck, man. Like some people there were so brutal. Like there's parts of them I really like. I've just been negative today. Like I had a maple leaf on one of my sweaters, and someone's like, "Oh, you trying to prove a point today, Mackenzie?" It's like, what the fuck? We're in the country. They don't see themselves as a part of Canada, even though they use our currency, and they are the province that is most funded by the Equalization Act. So basically, all that nasty oil that they don't like from Alberta is paying for their province. Just they have a negative economy. Provinces like Nova Scotia do too, but that makes sense because it's like, there's can be a lack of jobs sometimes. Quebec and Montreal, like they have the best tourist city in basically the world. Somehow they have a negative economy. It's like, what's going on there, guys?
Yeah.
So one guy, another said, he was like, fuck Canada, fuck, I spit on Canada. And I was like, well, if there was no Canada, where would you get all your money? And he fucking lost it. And he started screaming at me in French. And it's funny because that guy was Quebecois. One of the lead actors who was from, don't even know what country, but he was a brown guy from, and it's funny, like it's all of a sudden I wasn't the majority there. I was kind of a part of being an immigrant and being an outsider. So I kind of got like clicking with people just because they're different and not the majority.
Yeah.
Wasn't just a normal white guy there anymore. I was a dirty immigrant to the majority population. And then this guy, he stood up for me. I don't know where he's from, but he's from a French-speaking country from South America, I think it was. I'm not sure. I might seem like an idiot because it might not have been. Could have been Africa. But I think he was from Africa and then he moved somewhere in South America. But and then now he was in Quebec. But he said, he was like, man, you started it, and Mac just gave a joke back, and you're the one who got sensitive.
Yeah. I think that's a huge thing too. Like there's people that can dish it up but can't take it.
Yeah. Well, I found the culture in Quebec. It was like when it just like film sets in Toronto and Winnipeg. If someone makes a mistake, you don't point it out to everyone. But like there, for some reason, it'd be like someone drops something like.
Yeah.
It's like, and
I'll never forget that fucking sound that you made that one time.
What, just now?
No, it was a couple weeks ago when you were explaining sort of the same story except in a different context. It's like it's like almost like a cartoon, the fact that these guys act like this.
Okay, look at this. Okay, so this painting. Okay, this was given to me by a dude, right? And I guess like when I was at the Convoy live streaming, I was like kind of imitating Quebecois a lot.
Okay.
And then, so this is a fucking nice painting. Someone gave this, my first ever gift from a fan, I'll say. What was his name? Scribble25 is his name on Instagram. Check him out. I brought that painting with me everywhere. And he was like, hey, are you Mac John? That was my name during the Convoy. And I was like, yeah, why, what's up? He's like, are you the guy that imitates French Canadians? And this guy was fucking huge. And I was like alone at like 1 a.m. I was like, he's like, no, I like it. He was an Anglophone that grew up in Quebec. And so he got shit on his whole life, right? And he's like, no, I really like, he's like, man, I want to show you something. And he starts unzipping his backpack. I'm like, oh, like, fuck, is he got like a gun or something?
Yeah, he's gonna stab you. Yeah,
fucking Quebec. And I do love Quebec. I do. Like I see it as, but anyways, I got that painting. I do see Quebec as, it's so beautiful. It's one of the most, I think it is, Montreal's the most, to me, it's the most beautiful city I've ever been in. And a lot of people are more friendly than most people. But it's like this like 5%. It's like people there are more friendly. Like 95% of the population is more friendly than the rest of Canada. And that 5% is like, no, we got to make up for them.
Yeah. They balance it out.
And it's like having a crazy hot partner. And it's just like, you are so beautiful and everything would be so perfect if you just fucking stop, if you just cut the shit. It's like, why are you throwing my shoes in the backyard? You are so beautiful. Please stop being difficult. And that is how I would describe living in Montreal.
Wow.
questions, Jordan. Jordan, this one's been all about me. Next one's all
Yeah, that's now the next one's all about me. Okay. I'll have to prepare some stuff.
here. You know what? Can we film that? Fuck, since we're here, can we what do you got going on, Jordan? Can we stop, record, and then can I tell you the Halloween story?
Sure.
Okay, thanks. You're the fucking best. Jordan. Jordan.
Did you get did you stop recording?
Fuck, imagine if I didn't record, I'd fucking lose my mind.